Hello, thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. My name is Jared Hewitt, and I'm just going to take a few minutes of your time to talk about an issue that I found that companies are facing, and that issue is companies integrating their old data onto this new platform that they're starting to use called SalesForce. So just a little bit about myself. I currently work as an entry-level staff accountant, and this means that a lot of my daily tasks involve data entry. So some of my more prominent tasks is I pay invoices, I prepare closing statements, and I conduct bank recs. So this ties into why I'm interested in solving this problem. Currently at my work, we're going through integrating our old system into Salesforce. And to do this, we have to manually enter each data form. And that can get a bit time consuming, and it creates a greater expense to the company, obviously, since we have to work more hours to get all this data integrated in a timely manner. The inciting incident for me wanting to fix this is really just going through that switch. It's made work a lot more difficult. I haven't been able to get as much of my tasks done, and it'd be a lot more beneficial to the company. So just a little background on the problem itself. Like I previously stated, this problem really only comes from the integration stage. Most companies love Salesforce. It's a great program to report on, but it just takes forever to get the old data integrated with the new system. Some consequences of this is it increases turnover rate for the company, and they have to hire usually extra contractors to be able to write script to transfer over the old data in a more timely manner. But the frequency of this problem, which is really interesting, is that it happens with most companies, and it's not one individual company having this issue. So a little bit about the customer and who is affected. It affects everybody in the firm. It affects managers because they have to deal with the high turnover rate that it causes, and it affects the lower level staff because they're the ones who are actually dealing with the day-to-day struggles of having to integrate this old data into the new system. So just a few general characteristics. They're usually somewhat educated. They're in the workforce. They're usually working just a typical 9 to 5 job. Usually that's the requirements of data entry, and if they're not 9 to 5, they're in a supervisor position, so they're still working around a 9 to 5 schedule. But for who gets the most frustrated, it would probably have to be the data entry staff, since they're the ones who are handling most of it, or most of the day-to-day issues that are faced with this integration. So some of the current alternatives that are available are one of the most popular alternatives, I should say, is hiring contractors. At my job specifically, we hired a team of software developers that can write the scripts needed to make the website more customizable and make it better fit our needs as a company. But some other alternatives is you find a program that'll integrate the data for you. You can spend extra time integrating old data one by one, and you can set up new processes to try to get around the tweaks and the finicky aspects of Salesforce. So my solution to this problem would be to create a preliminary Salesforce site. And this is a website where companies can upload their data that will automatically identify which data will transfer over seamlessly and which ones will have to have tweaks. After it identifies which data needs tweaks, it will then notify the team to be able to write the code and get in touch with the company to find out the needs that they need specifically to make it a more customizable a more customized website that can make their day-to-day processes easier and smoother and more efficient. So just a little bit more about the solution. I believe that this will solve stress levels throughout the company. It will solve stress levels. It will first solve the stress levels on the lower level staff and inputting the data, which will reduce the high turnover rates and the extra expenditures made by having to have them work longer, which will ultimately reduce the stress levels by upper management. Post-use, it will just be the normal Salesforce website. We won't really have much to do after that because we'll have done our job and gotten the data integrated smoothly, hopefully. And it will keep companies from having to make extra expenditures like I previously said. But that's all I have, so thank you all for listening. I appreciate it.